Welcome to Mastering Aging Gracefully, a podcast dedicated to elevating the way we care for ourselves and our loved ones as they age. We will bring you the best of the best experts in the senior care industry, heartfelt stories, real experiences, and meaningful solutions that truly matter. This is your go-to resource for navigating the journey of aging with intention, compassion, and connection. Together, we'll explore better health practices, stronger support systems, and a future where your family can feel safe and cared for. Join us as we learn, grow, and embrace aging gracefully. Hi, welcome to Mastering Aging Gracefully, where we have Paul of Modern Care Homes. Thanks for being with us, Paul. I'm so excited to have you on. I'd just like to hear a little bit more about how you got started way back when. I know the story, but I want to give our listeners that story as well.
Well, I started a long time ago. You know, my mom, she was doing this business back in the 80s, as long as I could remember. And so, I would, I was probably 6 or 7 years old, and mom would say, "Hey, we have a new business. We're going to go to this home, and then we're going to start taking care of the elderly people," and obviously at that point, I didn't know what that meant. And she was a nurse we grew up in San Francisco area, in the Bay Area, and she worked for Kaiser, which is a big hospital chain, just kind of like a banner out here.
Okay.
And a lot of the nurses were in that type of business. And so she kind of branched off and learned from them. And so, one thing back then, like they didn't have step down type facilities. It was the nurses, back in the 80s, the nurses would see a client leaving the hospital and they were in their maybe 70s and 80s, maybe 90s, and they weren't ready to go home. And so, the nurses at her work would say, "Hey, I have a home. I can take care of you for an additional, month or 2 months until you're ready to go back home." And then,
Because the other option would be like a skilled nursing facility back then.
Yeah, I think they were, I believe they were nursing facilities.
Okay. Which is definitely different than an actual home.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was very sterile,
Yes.
white walls and white flooring, and it was just cold, it was nobody wanted to be there.
Yeah.
And so home was the alternative. Right. And so, so mom started getting into that business, found out that the other nurses were doing that type of business. And it was a mix of real estate as well.
Okay.
Real estate, and that were, I guess the big thing back then, people were buying real estate and cleaning them up, remodeling them, and then renting them out to families, holding on to them for, forever, 20, 30 years. And then just, the real estate itself was the investment. Now, the nurses were putting a little spin on it. They were buying these homes, and then they were bringing clients from the hospitals directly into the homes. And then they would have maybe their sister, my mom's sister, my mom's brother, or my grandmother would be helping and just watching over people that were coming in from the hospitals and really just helping them, making them lunch, making them.
So a true family environment at this. I mean, it's a family, like we'll bring you into our family, into this home, and no regulations at that point.
No. Yeah. Okay. It wasn't even called, I think they call it, we call it assisted living homes. I think back then it was called a group home.
Okay.
I think in California now they call it RCFE, which is residential care for the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
So, but going back into the 80s, every weekend was spent in a home for me. So that's how much experience I have. It's like, I came here in Arizona back like 20 plus years ago, but that was early 2000s. We're talking about the 80s here.
Well, and let me ask you this. Was it part of your culture, your mom's culture also? The one thing I think is interesting about the United States is that sometimes we haven't been the best at taking care of our seniors. And so different cultures are so much better. We have a big Romanian culture today. But was that part of your mom's, like, how was it with your grandparents? Is that what her culture did, is take care of their seniors in their home? And that was so comfortable for her? Or this was just a business idea made out of being a nurse in a hospital?
It was both. Her being around her coworkers kind of stemmed, being a nurse, you you take care of people. You're in the hospital. That's kind of, that's the job, and then when you see them leave and they're not really ready to go home, or if you're an 80-year-old and then you're leaving and then the other person that you're leaning on to take care of you is also 80 years old, you see that and you offer, there was an opportunity to offer more assistance back at that time. There wasn't a lot of, it was like a new business back, again, when my mom was doing it back in the 80s, but that, and then going to our kind of our culture, we're Filipino and we, in our culture, we take care of our loved ones and we don't send them anywhere. They're coming home with us, whether it's
right. No matter how hard it is.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That's amazing.
And we were brought up to, take care of your family.
Yep.
Right. And so you mix both of those together and then you end up with a new business idea that, my mom was, opened up her eyes. And I remember back then she was into real estate, but didn't really understand the real estate and caring for people aspect, I guess.
Okay.
And so when she really found that niche, she jumped in 100%.
And now did she have you jump in as well? I know you were young, but you remember those times and were you part of the business? Because there's a lot of children that with people that own care homes, their children are part of it. Like they come in and they're interacting with the seniors. Is that how your childhood was? I'm just curious. I want to know more.
Man, I don't know. What was I, like 8, 9 years old? My mom made me. She's like, you're working this weekend. Yeah. This is our business. So this is the family business. You're coming over and you're going to, help. It wasn't even a caregiver. It was like my aunt or my grandmother, or it was family. So it was almost like doing house chores and house, you just helped around the house. And yes, you had somebody new that was in the home, but you treated them like family and you just took care of them. And until back then, it was only like 2 or 3 months that they really stayed. We didn't really, it's not like how it is
today,
now,
where it's like a permanent situation for a lot of these folks. So it was just temporary, just to bridge the gap.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because now, we're taking care of people that are almost like skilled.
Yes.
And so they, it's very hard.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
Very hard, which people don't realize.
No.
So, but going back to when we first started, it was, I think my mom was charging like $500 a month, something like that. $800 a month was like the high, which, that's obviously way off than
today it's like up to $10,000 a month or more. Or more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So to give the viewers a little bit of a insight that don't know, people don't know how much it costs a month. Yeah. But $500 a month is, like with food, your room, all the care, amazing. But today it's more in the thousands, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you're going into like California, New York, Hawaii, you start at maybe 10, 11,000 and up. But I've seen very, very expensive quotes upwards towards 20,000. I think I had a client call in this weekend and we quoted 19,000.
Yeah.
So it's definitely it's very far from $500.
$500 a month.
But, back then it was just, okay, we're just going to make lunch, help you with whatever you're recovering from. Maybe you have like a broken leg or ankle, or maybe you had a stroke or something like that. Just trying to.
That's amazing. Yeah, in the 80s. So then fast forward.
Yeah.
Okay. And you decide to get into the business, but how old were you when you decided to get started?
On my own, I let me see here. I graduated. I went to school for aviation.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. I went to school for aviation, but then I graduated after 9/11, so I couldn't. Nobody was flying back then.
Oh my gosh! And where'd you go to school, Paul?
San Jose State.
Okay, that's right. That's right. I should know that, right? My husband and you have had many conversations about San Jose State. Okay, sorry about that.
San Jose State in Northern California, and went to school for aviation. couldn't find a job after 9/11, right? Everybody was getting laid off.
Yeah.
Just like COVID, nobody was going anywhere, right? And nobody was traveling or anything like that. So I decided to go to Hawaii for a few years.
Okay.
You know, my wife now, we were dating back then, and I basically chased her over there.
That's great.
Yeah. And I was like, well, I know Hawaii because my mom grew up in Hawaii. And so it was, I knew it like the back of my hand. It was just like going across the street for me.
Great.
So went there, and 3 years into it, I still was, island life, all I had to do was work and then go to the beach and
so
just
great.
hang out.
Slower lifestyle.
Super slow.
Yep.
Like, yeah. And then I get a call from mom, and she's like, are you going to actually work?
Like do something with your life? She's getting worried.
Yeah. It's like the third year after, I've already like 3 years after I've graduated. I haven't done anything,
And you and Ashley aren't married yet.
We at that time, no.
Yeah. No.
We were going to
get married.
Yeah. And
so she probably was like, okay, you're going to have to be a husband and like, and be like mature, and you can't just live on the beach, and be married.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with yourself?
Just
I get it. A mama's heart. Yeah.
Yeah. So we decided to go back to California.
Okay.
And at that time, me and my wife, we needed a break, just like we were young. She was early 20s and I was mid 20s. So at that point, I didn't want to stay in California. It was already kind of expensive at that point still. And then my mom was already in Arizona, and she's like, why don't you come over and help me with the business? And then maybe that's something you want to. At least you can help me for now, and then go into aviation after, if you just decide to go that way again.
Right.
But she was just trying to, I guess kind of kickstart, my career and stuff like that. And I guess I might have hit a rut, where I was just like, I don't want to, you're living in Hawaii for 3 years. You just, you
get used to the lifestyle. Stuck. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you came back to Arizona. She had houses. You got started just like helping her manage and just getting little by little into it.
Yeah. Back in 2003, the way she got me to come here, and I think she was really just like, I need Paul closer to me.
Yes, of course.
So she's like, I'm gonna help you buy your first home. You can stay there in San Jose, and I was like, okay, and then she obviously got me with like, you can make, at least you can make some money on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll help you, that'll be your first business and you can grow.
Okay.
And I already knew about the business. My mom's already had maybe 10 or 12 of those businesses at that point.
Yeah.
She also had a couple of centers that she built up, a 40-bed center in, which is now called Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
And it's still up and running.
Wow.
So, by the way, let me show you this picture. I if you look, she sent me this. And if you zoom in, that's an old newspaper. Look at the date on that.
1989, August 3rd, 1989. Senior care home gives seniors control of lives.
Yeah, and that's me.
That's you.
Pushing a client around the block in their wheelchair.
That is awesome. Oh my gosh.
So I truly can say I started.
You did. You are like, I've always called you a pioneer, and that is proof that you and your family are pioneers. I just love it. Your mom had a vision, and it's been, look at it today. She really started this probably whole thing in Arizona as a pioneer.
Yes.
And it's a legacy, and you're carrying it on. And I love that so much. I love hearing the background. We're going to have you come back because there's so much more. I know there's so much more you have to offer other people about pitfalls or the challenges and what they should be thinking about when they get into it. So we're going to have to do that again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Paul, thanks for being here. We could talk all day. I'm so excited that everyone got to hear how you began. And next time we'll talk a little bit more. Every time when you come, we'll add on to it. But thank you for joining Mastering Aging Gracefully.